Observe, imitate, and then modify. This is the quiet rhythm that guides every act of creation. Welcome, dear friends, to TERAFLORA Studio, a place where gardens are not just spaces of soil and stone, but sanctuaries of imagination and renewal. Here, we believe that beauty often waits in the simplest forms: a discarded bottle, a forgotten pot, a small corner bathed in sunlight, all holding the potential to bloom again in unexpected ways. Today, we will journey together into ideas that transform what many call waste into wonders for your garden. You may hear the hum of bees, picture the shimmer of water, or imagine the fragrance of herbs drifting on the breeze. Each story is an invitation, not only to watch, but to dream of what your own hands can shape. Whether you live in a small apartment balcony or a wide, leafy backyard, these ideas carry the promise of growth, color, and joy. Before we begin, let me share something important with clarity. This content has been carefully crafted with the help of artificial intelligence. Every word, every vision, is woven with technology to guide and inspire you. Yet beyond the screens and tools, the real heart of this creation is you. Your touch, your care, your willingness to turn possibility into reality. So as you listen and watch, let your thoughts wander gently. Perhaps you will find an idea to recreate today, or perhaps a single spark that will wait until tomorrow. And when the time feels right, may your garden reflect not just design, but the warmth of your own story. If this journey resonates with you, I warmly invite you to subscribe to TERAFLORA Studio, so that together we may continue weaving inspiration into every season. Observe, imitate, and then modify. This is the gentle rhythm of every DIY journey. The bottle flower tower begins as something humble, a collection of plastic bottles once destined for the trash. Yet when arranged with patience and care, they rise together into a vertical bloom, a sculpture of life standing proudly in the heart of your garden. Picture it, each bottle stacked one above the other, forming layers that cradle soil and roots. The marigolds spill downward in cascades of orange and gold. Trailing vines weave through the gaps, and petunias add a splash of pink and purple like confetti on a canvas of green. With every added flower, the tower begins to whisper its own story, of renewal, of transformation, of beauty drawn from what others overlook. Standing near this tower feels different than standing near a traditional flower bed. There is something vertical about hope, something that stretches toward the sun. The bees hum as they dance between blossoms, butterflies rest on petals as if pausing mid-journey, and the rustle of leaves brings a melody only a garden can compose. And as you lean closer, you realize that this tower does not ask for much. Just a little water, a little light, and it rewards you with fragrance, color, and joy every day. Practicality, too, shines through this design. For small gardens, balconies, or narrow spaces, a flower tower creates vertical beauty where the ground is scarce. It teaches us that gardening is not about having wide land, but about imagination. To build one, you only need bottles, soil, and seeds. Cut, stack, and arrange. Then watch life climb upwards. There is also freedom in the design. Perhaps you choose herbs instead of flowers, strawberries instead of vines, or mix them all together for a tower of both taste and color. The choice is yours, guided by your hands and your creativity. At the end of the day, when sunlight fades and the tower glows softly under twilight, you'll feel it. The quiet satisfaction of having shaped beauty from something forgotten. A reminder that in every discarded object, there lies a chance to create a little wonder. Observe, imitate, and then modify. This is how forgotten bottles find new life. Imagine a wall once dull and lifeless, suddenly reborn as a living tapestry of green. The vertical pocket wall planter is not only a garden design. It is a canvas where nature paints itself. Each bottle, once empty, becomes a cradle of life, holding soil and roots with quiet determination. As you step closer, you see basil leaning outward, its fragrance drifting into the air. Mint spills gently from another pocket, refreshing the breeze with a cool scent. Above it, bright petunias cascade downward like ribbons of color, while ivy weaves patiently, threading its way across the wall. From afar, the arrangement looks like a quilt of nature, stitched together by soil and sunlight. This idea is especially magical for small spaces. A narrow balcony, a modest backyard, even the side of a shed. All can be turned into vertical gardens that stretch upward instead of outward. It reminds us that even in limited space, growth finds a way, and beauty always seeks the light. The process itself is simple. Cut the bottles, attach them firmly to the wall, fill with soil, and plant your choice of flowers or herbs. Over time, the wall transforms, softening with leaves and blooms, turning an ordinary surface into a sanctuary of life. Water trickles down, feeding each plant in its row, like a river cascading through valleys of green. There is poetry in standing before such a wall. The eye wanders from pocket to pocket, noticing the variety of textures and shades, the way colors contrast and harmonize. It feels less like a garden and more like a mural painted by the earth itself. And in that moment, you realize the bottles are no longer just plastic. They are frames for living art. By dusk, the wall glows softly under fading light, and the hum of insects blends with the quiet air. This is where imagination turns boundaries into bridges, a reminder that even the simplest materials can hold the promise of beauty when touched by creativity and care. Observe, imitate, and then modify the secret path of creativity. Imagine standing beneath a tree or under the beams of a pergola, and above your head, bottles sway gently like lanterns of nature. This is the hanging bottle chandelier garden, a design that turns empty air into a gallery of life. Each bottle, once forgotten, now cradles blossoms that spill like jewels from their rims. When the sun moves through the sky, light filters through the bottles, scattering soft glimmers on the ground. It feels as though the bottles are lit from within, glowing with quiet magic. Every sway carries the rhythm of renewal. Every petal draped over its edge sings of elegance crafted from humble beginnings. There is a festive charm in this idea. The bottles sway like lanterns at a celebration, yet instead of fire or bulbs, they hold flowers, small flames of nature dancing in the breeze. It transforms a simple pergola, tree branch, or balcony beam into a stage where color, movement, and light play together. Creating one is simple yet rewarding. Bottles are cleaned, cut, and filled with soil. Small holes allow drainage, and sturdy strings or wires hold them safely in place. Choose flowers that trail downward, such as petunias, nasturtiums, or ivy, and let them spill over, softening the edges with natural grace. The bottles do not need to be identical. Their different shapes and sizes add charm, making the chandelier feel handcrafted and alive. This design fits perfectly for gatherings. Imagine an evening with friends beneath the bottles, each one swaying gently while fragrance drifts through the air. Or picture a quiet morning, when the bottles catch the first rays of light, glowing softly while the garden awakens. The beauty of this chandelier is not only visual. It reminds us that elegance does not require luxury. It can be built from what we already have, shaped with our hands and brought to life with patience. What once cluttered a corner of waste now hangs above, offering joy, shade, and inspiration. Standing beneath it, you feel time slow. The bottles sing quietly in the breeze, flowers smile from their rims, and your heart beats in rhythm with their sway. A chandelier not of crystal but of care. Observe, imitate, and then modify. It is often in the simplest changes that true ease is born. The self-watering herb bottle planter is one of those quiet innovations that feels almost like magic. With just a single bottle, cut and arranged with intention, you can create a miniature system where plants drink only what they need. Picture a row of clear bottles on a windowsill, each half holding soil, roots, and herbs reaching gently toward the light. Below, in the lower half of the bottle, water rests patiently, waiting to rise through a wick or cotton thread. Basil leans outward, its fragrance sweet and lively. Mint grows lush and cool, a promise of refreshment for your kitchen. Rosemary stretches upward, its slender leaves whispering of flavors to come. There is a quiet genius here. For those with busy days, these planters offer peace of mind. The reservoir holds enough water to sustain your herbs for days, reducing the need for constant care. The bottles do the work silently, feeding each root drop by drop. It is as though the plants grow at their own rhythm, without hurry, without thirst. Beyond practicality, there is beauty in this design. Sunlight glimmers through the clear plastic, illuminating the roots like threads of a secret tapestry. You can see life unfolding beneath the soil, normally hidden from sight. Tiny droplets form on the inside walls, sparkling like morning dew, while leaves above dance in the breeze of an open window. The process of building these planters is simple. Cut the bottle in half, invert the top portion, and insert a wick or strip of cloth through the neck. Fill with soil, place it into the bottom half filled with water, and plant your seeds. Over time, you will witness how seamlessly nature adapts to this rhythm. This small invention is not just about growing herbs. It is about reclaiming time, reducing waste, and enjoying beauty in a simple form. A bottle once meant to be discarded becomes a companion, a vessel of life, a reminder that even in our busiest days, nature finds a way to thrive. Observe, imitate, and then modify, such is the way ordinary objects become silent helpers. The bottle drip irrigator is one of the simplest yet most thoughtful ideas. Imagine a plastic bottle turned upside down, its cap pierced with tiny holes. Slowly, drop by drop, water escapes into the soil, reaching roots with patience rather than haste. There is something calming about this rhythm. The earth darkens as each drop sinks in, the roots sigh in relief, and the plants stand taller. Unlike a flood of water poured all at once, this method feels like a steady heartbeat, sustaining life gently and consistently. For anyone who cannot be in the garden every day, this system becomes a quiet guardian. It asks nothing more than to be refilled now and then, and in return, it nurtures plants faithfully. Picture a row of tomato plants, their stems strong and their leaves broad, each guarded by an upside-down bottle slowly feeding them. Nearby, marigolds glow in golden light, their soil damp and healthy. Even in the hottest afternoons, the plants remain vibrant, thanks to a simple rhythm of drops. Creating one is almost effortless. You only need a plastic bottle, a small nail or pin to pierce the cap, and a bit of soil to anchor it upside down. With this, you have built a system that works with nature rather than against it. No waste, no complicated tools, just patience carved into plastic. What makes this design more than just practical is the poetry hidden within. A bottle, once meant to be discarded, now holds a new role, that of a caretaker. It becomes a vessel not of waste but of kindness. Standing in your garden, watching sunlight glimmer on the bottles, you realize beauty often lies in small gestures. This irrigation trick is especially valuable in dry seasons. Plants thrive even when the gardener is away, nourished by a steady rhythm of drops. In this, there is a quiet lesson that life is not always about abundance but about constancy. A little water, given with care, can sustain beauty in the grandest way. Observe, imitate, and then modify. Even the smallest details in a garden can tell a story. The edging border, often overlooked, becomes a quiet frame that defines space and gives order. With recycled plastic bottles, this border transforms from simple waste into a rhythm of light and form. Imagine walking along a garden path where bottles are buried upside down, their rounded bottoms catching the sunlight like tiny gems. The flowers rise behind them, marigolds glowing gold, daisies leaning playfully in the breeze, herbs filling the air with fragrance. The bottles create a clear boundary, not of stone or wood, but of imagination. There is beauty in their simplicity. Each bottle stands like a sentinel, marking the edge between wild growth and tended soil. Sunlight dances on their curved surfaces, and as evening falls, The last rays of the day glimmer softly, making the border glow as though alive. What was once a discarded item now feels like an intentional design, rustic and charming. The process is gentle and easy. Collect bottles of similar size, clean them, and place them upside down into the soil, half buried for stability. Align them along the edges of your beds, tracing curves or straight lines as you wish. The border holds soil in place, prevents weeds from creeping in too easily, and frames your garden like a natural artwork. More than function, these edging borders remind us of balance. In gardening, structure and wildness coexist. Flowers bloom freely, yet the border offers order. It is like music, the freedom of melody held within the gentle guidance of rhythm. Even the smallest gesture, placing bottles into soil, can change how the entire garden feels. Walking along such borders brings a sense of completion. The crunch of leaves beneath your feet, the shimmer of sunlight across the line of bottles, the way each step feels guided yet unconfined. It is a reminder that beauty is not always in grand gestures, but often in small frames that shape the whole. At twilight, when the sky deepens in color, the bottles glow softly, reflecting both the light of day and the care of the gardener. A border, yes, but also a story of renewal, patience, and creativity. Observe, imitate, and then modify, and sometimes the smallest protection makes the greatest difference. The bottle mini greenhouse is a gentle reminder that even fragile beginnings deserve shelter. Imagine a sprout, just a tender stem with two tiny leaves, reaching upward into an uncertain world. With the curve of a clear bottle placed above it, the sprout is shielded, cradled in its own quiet sanctuary. Inside this dome, warmth gathers. Sunlight filters through, soft yet steady, creating a gentle climate where young roots can grow strong. Moisture lingers, forming tiny pearls of condensation on the inner walls, shimmering like jewels in the morning light. It feels as though the bottle whispers to the sprout, "Grow without fear." For a gardener, this design offers peace of mind. A sudden chill, a heavy rain, or a curious insect, all are softened by the protection of the bottle. The sprouts continue in their rhythm, safe beneath their transparent roofs. With each day, their stems grow taller, their leaves unfold wider, and their colors deepen with confidence. Creating these mini greenhouses is simple. Cut a bottle in half, place the top portion over a seedling, and press gently into the soil to anchor it. Tiny holes can be added for airflow, but often the balance of warmth and moisture inside is enough. In this small act, waste becomes care, plastic becomes shelter, and fragility is transformed into strength. There is beauty in leaning down to look closer. Beneath the clear walls, you see life unfolding in slow motion, delicate, determined, and full of promise. Each sprout tells a story of resilience, nurtured by nothing more than soil, sunlight, and a repurposed bottle. As days pass, the bottles begin to mist with warmth each morning and clear again by noon. The cycle repeats until the seedlings are ready to face the open air. And when that moment comes, the bottles can be lifted away, leaving behind plants strong enough to stand on their own. This design is more than a trick of recycling. It is a lesson in patience and care, a reminder that nurture need not be costly. It only needs to be thoughtful. With every sprout that thrives under a bottle's shelter, the garden whispers back. Renewal begins in the smallest of gestures. Observe, imitate, and then modify. The heart of upcycling lies not only in function, but in expression. The painted and styled bottle pot is where creativity turns the ordinary into art. Imagine a bottle, once dull and forgotten, now glowing in soft terracotta or brushed with pastel blue. With each stroke of paint, its past disappears, and its new identity begins. In the garden, these painted pots stand proudly along paths or sit quietly on tables, holding flowers, herbs, and tiny succulents. Sunlight drifts across their surfaces, bringing out the warmth of color, the texture of brush marks, and the details of stenciled patterns. No two pots look the same, yet together they create harmony, like a family of voices singing different notes in the same song. The process itself becomes part of the joy. Bottles are cleaned and cut, their shapes transformed into cradles for soil. A brush dips into color. Maybe earthy greens, maybe rustic whites, maybe cheerful yellows, and with every sweep, plastic is disguised, replaced by beauty. Some are wrapped with rope for a rustic charm, others decorated with floral motifs, while a few are left with simple solid shades that glow softly against the backdrop of greenery. These styled pots are not just containers. They are accents of personality. A row of them along a balcony rail adds character. A cluster on a table becomes a centerpiece of conversation. Even in small corners, they bring charm, proving that decoration need not be bought. It can be made with patience and imagination. As you water the plants within, drops cling to painted surfaces, glimmering like beads of glass. Butterflies land on blossoms, unaware that their roots rest in what was once discarded plastic. The transformation feels complete, yet always evolving, as new designs can be added with every season. At twilight, when the light softens and the garden feels calm, the painted bottles glow in their subtle colors. They are no longer seen as waste, nor merely as tools, but as pieces of living art, frames that celebrate life in its most humble and radiant forms. And so, with every brushstroke, every plant, every choice of color, you create not just pots, but stories, woven into the soil of your garden. Observe, imitate, and then modify, and suddenly a bottle that once carried water now carries life in another form. The plastic bottle bird feeder is a design that does more than decorate. It invites the sky itself into your garden. Imagine waking up to the gentle flutter of wings and the cheerful song of sparrows. On a branch or hanging by a fence, a bottle sways lightly in the morning air. Small holes cut along its side allow seeds to spill into little perches. Finches hop closer, pecking with quick movements, while a robin balances gracefully, savoring its meal. What was once destined for the trash now becomes a bridge between your home and the wild. The beauty of this idea is found in its simplicity. Clean a bottle, cut small feeding holes, insert wooden sticks or spoons as perches, and fill it with birdseed. Hang it on a tree, a pergola, or even your balcony. Within days, your garden transforms into a sanctuary of sound and motion. Birds, once distant, now make your space part of their daily journey. There is something deeply calming about standing nearby, watching feathers shimmer in the sun as birds gather without fear. The garden feels more alive, not only with plants but with creatures that bring movement and music. Flowers bloom below, insects hum softly, and above it all, birds sing their bright songs. It is as if the garden breathes deeper with their presence. Beyond its charm, the feeder carries a lesson. Even the smallest effort, a bottle repurposed, a handful of seeds, can create kindness that ripples outward. Birds find nourishment, you find joy, and together you share a connection built from something once thrown away. In the stillness of twilight, when the air is soft and shadows stretch long, the feeders remain. Birds rest in nearby trees, ready to return tomorrow. And as you glance at the bottle, glistening faintly in the fading light, you realize it is no longer plastic. It is a gesture, a song, a reminder that beauty and kindness can be crafted from the simplest of things. Observe, imitate, and then modify. The spiral has always been a symbol of growth, and in the garden, it becomes a story of flavor and fragrance. The bottle herb spiral tower is not only a design for beauty, but also a celebration of practicality, where every curve holds life that nourishes both body and spirit. Picture a spiral rising gently from the earth, each step filled with herbs chosen with care. At the base, mint spills outward, its cool aroma refreshing the breeze. A little higher, parsley and cilantro grow lush and green, promising freshness for daily meals. Above them, thyme and rosemary stand taller, their fragrance richer, their leaves eager for the sun. Together, they form a tower that spirals upward, weaving flavor into form. This design is perfect for small spaces. A spiral creates layers. using vertical growth to expand what would otherwise fit into only a small patch of soil. The bottles, cut and filled with earth, form pockets for each herb. Their recycled nature adds charm, a reminder that usefulness can be reborn from what was once discarded. As you walk around the tower, every step feels like a new discovery. The air shifts in fragrance. Cool mint here, sharp rosemary there, a sweet hint of basil just beyond. Insects hover gently, bees moving from leaf to leaf, butterflies drawn to the green tapestry. The spiral feels alive not just in sight, but in sound and scent. Creating one is a joyful task. Arrange bottles in a circle, building upward as the spiral narrows. Fill each with soil and plant herbs that suit your cooking or your senses. Water trickles down naturally from top to bottom, nourishing each level. The spiral itself becomes a rhythm, teaching how design and function can dance together. At twilight, the spiral glows softly in the fading light, herbs swaying in the evening breeze. Standing before it, you realize it is more than just a garden piece. It is a living sculpture, a reminder that beauty and nourishment can share the same space, built not from wealth but from creativity. A bottle spiral tower, simple, fragrant, and endlessly inspiring. Observe, imitate, and then modify, and soon the idea of soil gives way to water, roots suspended in clarity. The hanging bottle hydroponics garden is a design that feels almost futuristic, yet it can be built from the simplest of materials: plastic bottles and water. Imagine a row of bottles hanging neatly, each one clear, each one filled with a nutrient solution. Roots float gently inside, weaving like delicate threads, while leaves spill outward, green and vibrant. Basil leans toward the sun, lettuce grows crisp and fresh, and spinach stretches quietly upward. It is a garden that thrives without soil, yet carries all the richness of life. There is something mesmerizing about seeing the hidden side of growth. Normally, roots are buried, unseen, yet here they are visible, white, strong, and alive. Water glimmers around them, reflecting sunlight in tiny flashes, as though the bottles themselves are lanterns of life. The garden hums with a different kind of beauty, clean, simple, efficient. For those with limited space, this design is a gift. A balcony, a narrow wall, even a small patio beam can host a hydroponic system made of bottles. Each bottle hangs like a vessel of possibility, transforming air into a stage where food and flavor are born. It is proof that gardening need not wait for a field of soil. It can rise wherever there is water, light, and imagination. Building one is as rewarding as watching it grow. Cut holes into bottles, add seedlings supported by small sponges or netting, fill the bottom with nutrient water, and hang them securely. Over time, the plants flourish, sipping directly from the water, their growth almost visible from day to day. Standing beneath these bottles, watching droplets form on the inside, you feel a sense of quiet wonder. The system asks little, yet gives much. Fresh herbs for your kitchen, greens for your meals, and the joy of seeing life unfold in clear view. By twilight, the bottles glow faintly, catching the last light of the day, while leaves sway gently in the breeze. A hydroponic chandelier of sorts, reminding us that nature adapts, and that beauty can rise from the simplest vessels of water and care. Observe, imitate, and then modify, and what was once waste becomes a vessel of light. The recycled bottle garden lantern is not only decoration, but also a way to create warmth and magic in the quiet hours of the evening. Imagine a row of bottles along a garden path, each one holding a soft light. As dusk settles, they glow gently, guiding footsteps and wrapping the garden in a golden embrace. Painted in pastel shades or left clear to shimmer in their simplicity, the bottles transform into lanterns that seem to hold tiny fragments of stars. There is a special beauty in their glow. Unlike electric lamps bought in stores, these lanterns feel handmade, personal, and alive. Their imperfections, a brushstroke of uneven paint, the curve of a cut rim, only add to their charm. Together, they create an atmosphere of celebration, even in the simplest of gardens. The process is simple yet rewarding. Clean bottles, cut them neatly, and add a light source inside. A candle, a solar light, or a small LED, painted or decorated with rope, lace, or stencils. Each bottle takes on a character of its own. Some glow softly like cottage windows, others shine brightly like festive lanterns, all contributing to a mood that feels both rustic and enchanting. At night, the garden changes character. Shadows dance across flower beds, leaves shimmer in the glow, and the air feels calmer, touched by the warmth of light. Sitting nearby, you may feel as though time has slowed, the day's noise replaced by a gentle silence broken only by the flicker of lanterns and the hum of crickets. For gatherings, these lanterns are perfect. Friends and family gather beneath their glow, laughter mingling with the soft light. For quiet evenings, they bring comfort, turning solitude into serenity. In both moments, they remind us that beauty is not measured by cost, but by imagination and care. By dawn, the lanterns rest again, bottles waiting to glow once more when the sun sets. They are humble in their construction, yet powerful in their presence. A reminder that light, like beauty, can rise from the simplest of vessels, even those once considered waste. Observe, imitate, and then modify, and soon the sweetness of strawberries grows not across wide fields, but in the smallest of spaces. The bottle vertical strawberry planter is a design that turns humble plastic into a tower of flavor, beauty, and delight. Picture a column rising from the garden, each bottle stacked and secured, side holes carefully cut to cradle young strawberry plants. From these openings, leaves stretch outward, blossoms of white and yellow emerge, and soon after, small green fruits ripen into scarlet gems. The tower glows with life, a living sculpture where fruit dangles like jewels waiting to be picked. This design carries both charm and practicality. For those with limited space, a balcony, a courtyard, or even a small backyard, vertical planting allows abundance to grow upward. Each bottle pocket becomes a nest for roots, and the plants thrive as sunlight touches every side. Watering from the top allows moisture to trickle down, feeding each level in turn. It is efficiency shaped into beauty. There is joy in caring for such a tower. Morning light reveals dew on the leaves, bees hover gently, and the air carries a soft fragrance of ripening fruit. With each passing day, the berries deepen in color, from pale pink to deep crimson. Reaching out to pick one feels like a small miracle, a taste of summer born from what was once discarded plastic. The process is simple. Bottles are cut and arranged vertically, filled with soil and compost. Small holes provide space for plants to grow outward. Within weeks, the tower transforms, covered in leaves and dotted with blossoms. It becomes not only a source of food but also a centerpiece of beauty, a conversation piece that delights visitors and gardeners alike. By evening, the tower softens in the fading sun, fruits glowing gently as shadows stretch long. It is a reminder that abundance need not demand wide fields or costly tools. With imagination and care, strawberries can rise toward the sky, nourished by bottles once forgotten, and shared as sweet gifts of renewal. Observe, imitate, and then modify. A garden does not always grow on the ground. Sometimes it floats gently in the air. The bottle-hanging herb shelf is a clever design that lifts greenery upward, turning walls, pergolas, and balconies into living shelves of fragrance and flavor. Imagine rows of bottles, each one cut and tied with sturdy rope, suspended in graceful layers. Inside, soil cradles roots while herbs stretch outward, eager for the sun. Basil spreads its soft leaves, mint spills gently like a green waterfall, and parsley rises upright, fresh and vibrant. Together, they form a shelf not of wood or metal, but of bottles reborn with purpose. The beauty of this design lies in its practicality. For small apartments or compact yards, space is precious. A hanging shelf frees the ground, creating vertical gardens that fit even where soil is scarce. It is a dance of efficiency and elegance. Herbs close at hand, hanging neatly, waiting to flavor a meal or perfume the air. Creating one is a joyful process. Bottles are cleaned and cut, with openings for plants carved along their sides. Rope or wire threads through the bottles, stacking them into rows. Hung against a wall or frame, they become shelves that sway gently with the breeze, alive with movement and growth. Water trickles down from top to bottom, nourishing each layer as it falls. There is charm in tending such a shelf. Morning sunlight catches on the leaves, making them glow softly. Drops of water sparkle as you mist the herbs, and the air fills with fragrances that shift from cool mint to savory thyme. Standing before it feels like standing in a miniature garden suspended in air, light, simple, and refreshing. Beyond its function, the hanging herb shelf carries poetry. Bottles once forgotten now carry life. A corner once bare now hums with green. At dusk, when shadows lengthen, the shelf becomes a silhouette of leaves swaying gently, whispering of renewal. In its simplicity, it shows that gardens need no boundaries. They only need imagination. Observe, imitate, and then modify. Water has always been the heart of a garden, and when paired with creativity, it becomes a stage for renewal. The bottle pond and water feature decoration transforms forgotten plastic into ornaments of light, reflection, and calm. Imagine a small pond in your backyard, the water surface alive with ripples. Around its edges, bottles once discarded are now painted in earthy hues, forming a frame that catches the sun. A few are cut and shaped into floating flowers, drifting gently beside real water lilies. Together, they create a blend of natural and crafted beauty, as if the pond itself had decided to wear jewelry. There is serenity in this design. As the day warms, sunlight glimmers across the bottles, their colors mirrored in the water. Fish swim lazily beneath, shadows moving gracefully under the shimmering surface. At times, a breeze stirs, and the bottles clink softly, adding sound to the symphony of water and leaves. Building such decorations is both playful and practical. Bottles can be cut, painted, or reshaped into floating ornaments, edges smoothed for safety. Some can even be hung above the pond, dripping water slowly, creating a gentle trickle that feels like rain. Others form borders, anchoring soil and plants along the edge. With each placement, the pond changes character, from simple water to a gallery of reflections. More than beauty, this design teaches us about harmony. Water, plants, and recycled bottles coexist, each enhancing the other. What was once considered waste becomes part of the landscape, not hidden but celebrated. It is a reminder that creativity is not about hiding imperfections, but about weaving them into new stories. At dusk, when the last light of the day softens, the pond glows differently. Reflections deepen, lanterns nearby flicker, and the bottle ornaments shine faintly in the twilight. The garden feels quieter, calmer, as though the water itself carries your thoughts away. In such moments, the pond becomes more than decoration. It is a sanctuary of sound and reflection, a reminder that even from discarded plastic, we can create spaces that soothe the soul. Here, waste becomes wonder, and water becomes poetry. And so, dear friends, our journey for today gently comes to a close. We have wandered together through gardens shaped not by wealth, but by imagination, towers of blossoms rising from bottles, walls painted with herbs and flowers, and lights glowing softly in the evening air. Each idea reminds us that beauty does not demand perfection. It only asks for care, creativity, and the willingness to see potential where others see waste. As the day softens into twilight, I invite you to pause and carry with you the quiet lessons of the garden. That renewal can be born from what is cast aside. That small gestures, a seed planted, a bottle repurposed, a drop of water shared, can blossom into wonders far greater than their beginnings. And that every space, no matter how small, can hold the poetry of life when touched with love. Here at TERAFLORA Studio, our hope is simple: to offer inspiration that flows gently into your own home, your own hands, your own story. For each project is more than decoration. It is a reflection of patience, of joy, of harmony with the earth. If these visions have spoken to your heart, I warmly invite you to remain with us. By subscribing to TERAFLORA Studio, you become part of a growing circle of dreamers and makers, people who believe that even the simplest objects can bloom into beauty. Together, we will continue to explore new ways to create, to nurture, and to transform. Until we meet again, may your days be filled with light, your gardens with life, and your spirit with peace.